Defamation means an attack on the reputation of a person. It can be defined as the publication of a statement which tends to lower a person in the estimation of the right thinking member of the society. It is the more of an injury to the reputation of a person as compared to the injury to a one's self-respect. Defamation is described under the two heads. One, libel, two, slanders. Both libel and slanders are treated as a crime. Section 499 of the IPC treats them as an offence. Requisites of the defamation. Requisite of the defamation. Following elements are necessary to constitute defamation. A. The word spoken or written must be defamatory. B. The defamatory word should directly or indirectly refer to the person defamed. And C. Publication of word by an medium should take place. Certain defense to an action for defamation are available. First, justification of the statement. If it is proved that the statement made in true, then it is a complete defense. Second, fair comment. If the statement is fair comment or a matter of public interest. Third, privileges. These are two types. First, absolute privilege consists of the parliamentary proceeding under Article 105, Subclause 3 of the Indian Constitution and judicial proceeding. B. Qualified privilege consists of a situation when the statements are published with malice. Points to remember. Defamation means an attack on the reputation of a person. It tends to lower the image of a person socially. The injury is more to the reputation than to the self-respect of the person. Defamation consists of libel as well as slander. Libel is somewhat defamation in permanent form, and slander is in transient form. In India, defamation is both tort as well as crime. Section 499 of IPC provides for the penal punishment for the defamation. Defense against the defamation are justification of the statement, fair comment, and certain privilege. In nudo are those words which appear innocent but certain some secondary or latent meaning which is defamatory. Intention is not a necessary element to constitute defamation. Question based on this article. 78. Defamation means attack on the person's self-respect, attack on the person's reputation. C. Both A and B or none of the above. And the answer of the 78 is B. 78 is B. Attack on the person's reputation. Question number 79. Defamation consists of A. Libel and slander. B. Only libel. C. Only slander. D. None of the above. And the answer of the 79 is C. B. A. Libel and slander. Because in India, both libel and slander are come under the purview of the defamation. क्या करना है इसका? नहीं दे दो. Defamation tends to lower the image of a person. A. Commercially. B. In his political life. C. Social life. D. Both. In his political life and social life. And the answer of the 80 question number 80 is C. Social life. Question number 81. Libel is a defamation which is of A. Permanent nature. B. Temporary nature. C. Criminal nature. D. Both A and B. And the answer of 81 is A. Permanent nature. Question number 82. Libel can be in the form of A. Written word. B. Picture. C. Cinema film. D. All of the above. And the answer of the 82 is D. All of the above. Written word, picture or cinema film. Question number 83. Cylinder is of A. Strict form. B. Transient form. C. Permanent form. D. None of the above. And the answer of the 83 is B. Transient form. Question number 84. Defamation is an offence under A. Section 205 IPC. B. Section 300 IPC. C. Section 499 IPC. D. None of the above. And the answer of the question number 84 is C. Section 499 IPC. Question number 85. In Indian, defamation is A. Tort. B. Criminal offence. C. Both A and B. D. None of the above. And the answer of 85 is C. Tort and criminal offence both. Question number 86. Defense is defamation. Defense in defamation are A. Justification. B. Fair comments. C. Privilege. D. All of the above. And the answer is D. All of the above. 87. Question number 87. Privilege is a defense which can be of A. Absolute nature. B. Qualified nature. C. Both A and B. D. None of the above. And the answer of the 87 is C. Both absolute nature and qualified nature. Question number 88. Absolute privilege constitute A. Parliament proceeding. B. Judicial proceeding. C. Both A and B. D. None of the above. And the answer of 88 is C. Parliament privilege and judicial privilege both. Next. Nuisance. Nuisance. It means an unlawful interference with a person's use and enjoyment of land or some right over or in connection with it. It may be interfering with a person's comfort, health and safety. Nuisance is generally a continuing wrong. A stray act is ordinarily not a nuisance. A stray act is ordinarily not a nuisance. Kind of nuisance. Public nuisance. It is crime. It means interference with the right of public at large, such as brothel keeping, digging a trench on the highway, etc. Private nuisance. It is a civil wrong. There is tortious liability and a person can be sued in tort. There are two main defenses in an action for nuisance. A. Prescription. B. Statutory authority. Points to remember. Nuisance means unlawful interference with person right on the land. It means interfering with comfort, health, safety of a person. Nuisance are public nuisance and private nuisance. Defense in nuisance are prescription and the statutory authority. Question based on this. Question number 89. Nuisance means unlawful interference with a person use A. Of motor car, B. Of his office accommodation, C. Of his land, D. All of the above. And the answer of 89 is C. Of his land. Question number 90. Nuisance means interfering with a person's A. Comfort, B. Health, C. Safety, D. All the above. And the answer of 90 is D. All the above. Question number 91. Nuisance means public nuisance, private nuisance, both public and private nuisance, D. None of the above. And the answer of 91 is C. Both public and private nuisance. Question number 92. Public nuisance may include A. Brothel keeping, B. Digging trench on the highway, C. Both A and B, D. None of the above. And the answer of 92 is C. Both brothel keeping and digging trench on a highway. Question number 93. Private nuisance is A. Criminal liability, tortious liability, moral liability, all of the above. And the answer of 93 is B. Tortious liability. Question number 94. The main defense in an action of nuisance are A. Prescription, B. Statutory action, C. Both A and B, D. All of the above. And the answer of the 94 is C. Both prescription and statutory action. Question number 95. In private nuisance, a person can be sued A. Under Tort, B. Under Evidence Act, C. Under Transfer or Property Act, D. Under Population Control Act. And the answer of the 95 is A. Under Tort. Next, negligence. Negligence means a conduct of a person which creates a risk of causing damage. In a case of negligence, the person has to prove that the person negligent of a duty or of care to him made a breach of that duty and that he suffered damage as a result of it. There are three components: of a duty of a care to him, made a breach of that duty, and that he suffered damage as a result of it. Duty to take care means that one should behave as a responsibly careful man would behave in similar circumstances. Duty of take care means that one should behave as a reasonably careful man would behave in similar circumstances. Res ipsa loquitur. Res ipsa loquitur. Res ipsa loquitur. It means the things speak for itself. In his situation, such as accident, etc., the person is not required to prove negligence. Defense to negligence. The defense available against a Negligence Act are: first, contributory negligence; second, voluntary assumption of risk; and third, express contract. Rule of the first opportunity. According to this rule, when two persons are negligent, then one of them who had last opportunity of avoiding the accident taking ordinary care should be liable for the loss who had the last opportunity. The points to remember. Negligence means the conduct is such that it might cause damage. Negligence means the conduct is such that it might cause damage. The duty to take care means to be careful and behave responsibly. Res ipsa loquitur means the things speak for itself. In the case of res ipsa loquitur, a person is not required to prove his negligence. Defense available against negligent act are contributory negligence, assumption of the risk, and express conduct. Question based on this article. Question number 96. Negligence means A. The conduct might cause damage. B. The conduct might not cause damage. C. The conduct is too safe to cause damage. D. All of the above. And the answer of the question or this question number 96 is A. The conduct might cause damage. Question number 97. Plaintiff has to prove that the defendant A. owe a duty to take care. B. There is a breach of the duty. C. Damage has been caused to him. D. All of the above. And the question answer of the 97 is D. All of the above. Means owe a duty to take care. There is a breach of the duty and damage has been caused to him. Question number 98. Duty to take care means A. To be careful. B. To be dutiful. C. To be responsible. D. All the above. And the answer of the 98 is D. All the above. To be careful, to be dutiful, and to be responsible. Question number 99. Res ipsa loquitur means A. Things never speak by itself. B. Things speak by itself. C. Both the above. D. None of the above. And the answer of the 99 is D. Things speak by itself. Question number 100. In res ipsa loquitur, a person has A. To prove his negligence act. B. Not to prove his negligence act. C. Got full freedom to do what he wants. D. Right to kill. And the answer of 100 is B. Not to prove his negligent act. Question number 101. In negligence, the defense are A. Contributory negligence. B. Voluntary assumption of risk. C. Express conduct. And D. All of the above. And the answer of 101 is D. All of the above. Contributory negligence, voluntary assumption of risk, and express contract. Question number 102. Contributory negligence means A. Voluntarily getting hurt. Contributing in negligence. B. Hit in vengeance. C. Voluntarily causing hurt. D. None of the above. And the answer of the 102 is A. Voluntarily getting hurt. Contributing in negligence. 103. In negligence, the burden of proof is upon A. Defendant. B. Plaintiff. C. Both A and B. And D. None of the above. And the answer of the question number 103 is B. Plaintiff. Question number 104. In negligence, the defendant has A. Duty to be protective. B. Duty to take care. C. Duty to more rigid. D. All of the above. And the answer of the 104 is D. All of the above. Duty to be protective. Duty to take care. Duty to be more rigid. Next, the law of contract. The law of contract. Nature. The law relating to the contracts which constitute the most important branch of the commercial law is governed by the Indian Contract Act 1872, Section 2, Subclause H of the Contract Act lay down that an agreement enforceable by law in contract. Thus, contract is a combination of two ideas of agreement and obligation enforcing it, but there are certain agreements which do not create contractual obligations, such as a. Agreement of domestic nature between house and wife. B. Agreement relating to the social matter. Contract consists of a proposal or offer, acceptance of the offer or proposal, and consideration. Promiser, promiser, promiser. The person who make the proposal is called the promiser, and promise, while the person accepting the proposal is called the promise. Obligation, it means a legal duty to do or obtained from doing what one has promised to do or abstain from doing. Point to remember, the law of contract are governed by the Indian Contract Act 1872. Agreement enforceable by the law is contract. Section 2, subclause H. Contract is combination of agreement and obligation. Person to whom the proposal is made and accepted as promisee. Obligation means a legal duty to do or not to do the certain things agreed upon. The question based on this article are 105. The law of contract is governed by A. Indian Company Act. B. Indian Contract Act. C. Indian Evidence Act. D. Indian Penal Act. And the answer of it is B. Indian Contract Act. Question number 106. An agreement enforceable by the law is called A. Charge sheet. B. Contract. C. Business agreement. D. Land deed. And the answer of the 106 is B. Contract. 107 section 2 subclause D. Contract Act lay down provision regarding what is A. Quasi contract. B. Obligation. C. Consideration. D. None of the above. And the answer of the 107 is C. Consideration. Question number 108. Indian Contract Act. Question number 107. Section 2 subclause D. Contract Act lay down provision regarding what is A. Quasi contract. Obligation. C. Consideration. D. None of the above. And answer is B. C. Consideration. Question number 108. Indian Contract Act was passed in the year 1955. B. 1885. C. 1972. D. 1872. And the answer of this question is 108 is D. 1872. Promiser is a person. A. Who make the proposal. B. Who accept the proposal. C. Both A and B. D. None of the above. And the answer of 109 is A. Who make the proposal is called the promiser. Question number 110. Person who accept the proposal is performer. B. Promiser. C. Promisee. D. None of the above. And the answer of 1010 is C. Promisee. Next. Essential element. Essential element. A valid contract includes following ingredient. A valid contract includes following ingredient. A. An agreement. B. Genuine consent of a party. Genuine consent of the party. Third, lawful object. Fourth, made between competent party. First, an agreement. Second, genuine consent of party. Third, lawful object. Fourth, made between competent party. Essentials of a valid contract are: first, offer and acceptance. An offer is a proposal whereby a person expressing his willingness to enter into a contract in return for a promise or set of promises. A offer must be clear and communicated to the offerer, and this is explained in section 2 subclause A of the Contract Act. Whereas acceptance, दवाई वहीं रखी अंदर अंदर, whereas acceptance under section 2 subclause 2 B of the Contract Act means when a person to whom the proposal is made signify his assent thereto, the proposal is said to be accepted. Thus, when offer is accepted, it becomes the valid contract. Second है intention. The party must show interest to give rise the legal relationship on the basis of certain obligation. And third is consideration. There can be no contract valid without any consideration. Section 2 subclause D lay down the scope of consideration. It is an act of forbearance of one party and the promises. It is an act of forbearance of one's party and the promises for which the promise of the other party is sought. The privity of contract. Privity of contract means a stranger who is not the party to the contract cannot enforce it. 4. Minor person of unsound mind are not legally capable to contract. 5. The contract of the object of the contract is not illegal or opposed to the public policy. Points to remember. A valid contract contains an agreement with consent of the parties supported by some kind of the consideration for a lawful object. This agreement should be between competent parties. An offer is proposal under section 2 of subclause A. Acceptance means giving assent of the acceptance to the proposal. Section 2 subclause B. When offer is accepted, it is valid contract. The party must show the interest in the entering a legal relationship. No contract without consideration. Section 2D. Privity of the contract means a stranger cannot enforce the contract. Minor person of unsound mind are incapable to contract. The object of the contract cannot be unlawful. Question based on this article. 10111. Question number 111. A valid contract contains A. An agreement. B. Consent of the party. C. Lawful object. D. All of the above. And the answer of this is D. All of the above. Question number 112. No contract is valid until there is A. Consideration. B. Competent party. C. Both A and B. D. None of the above. And the answer is C. Both of above. 113. Question number 113. As offer is a proposal to enter a contract in return for A. Promise. B. Set of promises. C. Unlawful object. D. Both A and B. And the answer of 113 is D. Both A and B. Promise and set of promises. Question number 114. Section 2 subclause A Contract Act provides as to be what in an A. Acceptance. B. Offer. C. Consideration. D. Promises. And answer of the 114 is B. Offer. Question number 115. When an offer is accepted, it become A. Agreement, valid contract, proposal or consideration. And the answer of 115 is B. Valid contract. Question number 116. Acceptance is explained under A. Section 4, B. Section 2C, C. Section 2B, D. Section 2G. And the answer of the 116 is C. Section 2B. Question number 117. Intention must give rise to A. Illegal object, B. Legal relationship, C. An agreement, D. None of the following. And the answer of the 117 is B. Legal relationship. Question number 119. Consideration is essential element of A. Proposal, B. Acceptance, C. Valid contract, D. None of the above. And the answer of the 119 is C. Valid contract. Question number 120. The principle that no stranger can enforce the contract is known as res judicata, B. Privity of contract, C. Both, A and B, D. None of the above. And the answer of the 120 is B. Privity of the contract. Question number 121. Person who cannot enter into a valid contract are A. Minor, B. Person of unsound minded, C. Lunatics, D. All of the above. And the answer is 121. D. All of the above. Question number 122. The object of the valid contract can be A. Unlawful, B. Lawful, C. Expensive, D. None of the above. And the answer of 112 is C. B. Lawful. Next. Void, voidable, illegal agreement. Void, voidable, illegal agreement. Under certain circumstances, the agreement entered upon by the parties may not culminate into a valid contract due to certain play in it. The void agreement. Void agreement is one which has no legal effect. One cannot enforce a void agreement. Section 2G. Say an agreement not enforceable by the law is said to be void, such as minor agreement which is void. Voidable agreement. The distinction between the void and the voidable agreement is that former is not enforceable from the very beginning, while the latter is dependent upon the option used by the party to do it. Illegal agreement. In this type of agreement,